What's going on, guys? My name's Mitch Robs, and today we have another trapping tutorial series. So this is going to be the third part in the series, and today we're going to be continuing our coverage of every single trap in the game. So today we're going to be focusing on ceiling traps. So ironically, there's not very many ceiling traps in this game, but they're probably the most important damaging traps in your tunnels for numerous reasons, outside of maybe wall darts and wall dynamas, but we'll get to those later. But if you guys enjoy this series, please like on this video and consider subscribing to this channel. Please share this with your friends if they don't know how to build. This is meant for like a beginner level, and it's going to ramp up quickly into an advanced level, so I really hope you guys get something out of this. Consider joining my Discord, as there's a lot of people there that can help you out and are fans of the game, as well as consider following me on Twitch. I stream there once every once in a while, and it's a good time when we do. Alright, let's get on to ceiling traps. So let's talk an introduction into the ceiling traps. There are only 4 ceiling traps in the game, and here they are. So this is going to be a ceiling gas trap, right here. This is going to be a ceiling zapper. This is going to be a ceiling electric field. And this is going to be a ceiling drop trap. Those are the only 4 ceiling traps in the entire game, and they're all damage-based ceiling traps. So let's see what each one's about. To start, we're going to be talking about the ceiling gas trap. The ceiling gas trap's a really good trap that has consistent AoE damage. So it has a cloud that lingers in a one tile like spot where it's over, and it hits all the husks inside that tile. It has really high durability, high damage. It's really consistent damage, and it can only be placed at one tile high, but it's really good for clearing out a lot of smaller husks and stuff like that. So it doesn't contribute to the CC counter, which is really nice, so you can use those counters everywhere else. But it uses 7 nuts and bolts, 5 fibrous herbs, 2 mineral powder, and 1 bacon, so it's actually a really expensive trap to craft. So just don't go throwing away your fibrous herbs. And you'll see in the gameplay, I mean, just in this little stonewood test, right? It's going to kill quite literally everything before it even reaches the second gas trap. So using these at the beginning of your tunnels is really effective for just weeding out a lot of the trash mobs, right? So you'll see that like later on when we get further into the trap tunnel series, you'll see that certain traps are very, very good at the beginning of the tunnels to clear out a lot of husks, and then certain traps are used later on to do single target damage, and those are mainly like the AoE traps, like a ceiling gas trap. The perk set, it's just going to be like a high DPS build, right? This is almost going to have an infinite cloud. Now we're going to talk about a really important trap, even though the video that I showcase is going to show that you guys might think it's really bad. But it's a ceiling zapper. So a ceiling zapper provides a really high burst damage. So what that means is it's basically going to one-shot most husks and almost kill a lot of the smashers. It's going to have a really, really, really long reload time. So it's really meant for just nuking something, just one husk, right? It's going to have a high durability, and it's just going to hit that one husk. So this does actually have a knockback effect to it, so it is going to contribute to the CC counter. And you're going to have to use 9 nuts and bolts, 3 mechanical parts, and 1 battery to it. So like I was saying earlier with the ceiling gas trap, there are going to be certain traps that are better at clearing out husks in the middle, or at the beginning of your tunnels, and certain traps that are going to be better at the end. Ceiling Zapper is one of those that's going to be better at the end. It's going to provide as much damage as possible to try to nuke down that last husk before it gets to your objective. So as you guys can see, this is going to go very poorly. I lined up 3 Ceiling Zappers, so it's going to kill 3 husks over the course of 12 seconds. So everything else is just going to storm through. And like the husks that got hit died. Don't get me wrong, but this is not the way to put ceiling zappers. So if I see you guys putting ceiling zappers in a row like this, you're making a mistake. But it will kill everything like immediately, and that's one of the cool things about it. Other notes on the ceiling zapper is it's really important in Twine Endurance to nuke down smashers. You'll see that like a ceiling zapper, wall dynamo, and wall dart combo is one of the most effective things to killing smashers. It also can run energy in nature, so if you're dealing with water husks, that's really good, and it's really good against in general. The next trap we're going over is the ceiling electric field. This is going to be one of your more important damaging traps in the game, and The reason why is because it has a really fast reload and it has a high area of effect. So it's going to hit a large radius. So out from the center, it's going to have about a 1.375 radius. So it's going to have a huge circle around it that it's going to be able to hit. It's going to have pretty mediocre damage. It's less than like a gas trap. But it's going to have such a fast reload time that it's going to kill a lot of the littler husks. It can only hit up to like I think 5 or 6 regular husks. I think 6 is what I got video evidence of. But it also doesn't contribute to the CC counter, so it's going to be able to whittle down a lot of husks really quickly. And multiple can hit multiple husks at the same time, so you can create a lot of like damaging fields with these. But it's going to be pretty expensive to craft. It's going to be 8 nuts and bolts, 3 rough ore, 2 batteries, and 2 mineral powder. As you guys can see, it's just going to hit like 5 or 6 husks. These are pretty bad perks on the ceiling zapper or electric fields that I had here. But as you can see, it's going to hit a lot of different husks right here. It's not going to be effective as crowd clearing or, what's the word for it? Or single target damage as the gas traps, but it's going to be pretty good. The last ceiling trap we have to talk about is the ceiling drop trap. Now, this used to be a really useful trap, but it's a little bit on the downswing because of the crowd control nerf. But it has low AoE damage that depends on the height, so you can place this up to 3 high, and it'll do more damage progressively as it goes up. It's going to have a really slow reload, but it's going to have a high knockback and stun effect. And that knockback depends on how you place your trap. It's going to have high durability and it's going to hit multiple husks. The tires are going to hit the ground and they're going to spread out. And whatever a tire touches, it hits. This does contribute to the CC counter and it'll absolutely obliterate the CC count. So if you use these in your builds, just forget about having wall launchers or anything in your builds, or anything that you want to have stun the husks. These are going to take 7 planks, 2 mechanical parts, and 2 twine to craft. And like I said, these used to be a lot better than they are at the moment. But I mean, there's still uses for them, right? You can run these on a hill or like a slant and they're gonna travel down the hill at a pretty quick speed and do a lot of damage. But the perks I'm recommending are crit rating, crit damage, damage reload speed, durability, just a high DPS build. And these are going to be good for like spawn trapping and stuff like that, but not much else at the moment. So now that we've gone over each trap, let's put them into categories to make it easier for you guys to build with. So we're going to start off by classifying them as crowd control or not. So we know that ceiling zappers have a knockback effect and ceiling drop traps definitely have a stun and knockback effect. So those are both going to be crowd control traps. And what you should be looking forward to if you want to knock back or stun the husks. The ones that aren't crowd control oriented are going to be ceiling gas traps and ceiling electric fields. So they're actually pretty useful in tunnels because they don't have crowd control, because you can save those crowd control uses for more important traps like wall traps, which next video you'll see wall traps are literally what you should use your crowd control for, as they're really super important. We're also going to see that they're all damaging traps. Every single ceiling trap is a damaging trap. Ceiling gas traps have consistent AoE, like cloud and one tile target. We're going to have a ceiling electric field, which is going to have a spread AoE, which is going to hit a lot of targets. We're going to have ceiling drop traps, which is a really high spread trap, but it's going to have really, really, really low damage. And we're going to have a ceiling zapper that's going to be really single target, and it's going to be the only single target trap out of these. Ceiling gas traps have pretty high damage, but they're nothing compared to a ceiling zapper in damage. In Twine, for example, you can hit like close to 1 million pretty easily with a ceiling zapper damage on a single target, compared to like around 250,000 for a ceiling gas trap. So that's a pretty big disparity. We're also going to classify it into utility traps. Quite literally, the only utility trap is a ceiling drop trap, and that's because it, like, depending on how you orient it, it's going to give you a knockback effect, but it is ass. Do not use it as a utility trap unless you have very, very specific reason to. For example, I know Nacho_SP uses it in one of his endurance builds, but that's about it I can think of. Alright, so I've set up what quite possibly could be the worst, let's say, configuration of these traps, but I want to show off exactly how each works all in one little kind of clip. So I have a ceiling zapper at first. This is just going to zap everything. Simple enough. It's a single target damaging trap, so it's just going to zap a husk. We have our ceiling electric field, which is going to hit 5 or 6 different husks. We're going to have our drop traps, and then we're going to have our gas traps. Frankly, if I had the gas trap in front, quite literally nothing would get past it. So this is just mainly, this isn't like a good tunnel idea. This is mainly just to show off every single trap working. Alright. Like I said, this isn't going to be a great or even a good tunnel, but what it's going to show off is how each trap works. So we're going to see the ceiling zapper in the front. That's going to zap one single target. It's just going to outright kill it. We're going to have the ceiling electric field hitting multiple husks as they come through, and then the ceiling drop trap will go and spread out with its tires and hit everything. And then if they even make it past all of that, they'll get hit by the gas trap and just take consistent damage in a cloud. This should serve as a good introduction into the ceiling traps and what you can accomplish with them. So if you guys like this kind of content, leave a like on the video and share it with your friends if you feel as though they need it. As well as consider following me on my all my channels. They're going to be linked in the description, as well as join the Discord. There are really a lot of experienced players, and we have a really dedicated endurance community, so come on by. As well as comment down below the stuff you guys want covered. Once we get past the basic mechanics, I can take stuff into account that you guys want me to cover, so just let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos. It means the world to me, and I'm glad that people still love this game and enjoy this game. My goal is just to teach you guys how to play. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.